Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the Emerging Winemakers Competition and Symposium. My name is Paula Woolsey, and I am the head judge for this particular event. I want to thank everybody for having hopefully a bite to eat and maybe come back with a glass of wine and spending a little more time with us this afternoon. We're going to be announcing the winners of the competition, and then we're going to have a roundtable discussion at the end with some of the judges and the participants in the speaker sessions are going to be here. So if you've got questions, we're going to go ahead and ask that you put them in the chat, and we'll do our best to get to everybody. So before we get going, I wanted to let you know that this year, different from the years past, we had a video taken for a little film, short film, that we're going to share with you that shows the actual judging and process. We did the judging last week. On the 14th and the 15th, our judges came in from various places, and since the being able to be together this time in person wasn't possible, we thought, well, this is going to be a new way to show you, a little bit about the judging. We want to thank Jeremy Hawks. He came to us from the Sedona International Film Festival, and he spent some time with us on the board, and then he came through and made a short film, and I think it would be great for you to see it now.
I've been doing this for quite a while. I grew up in New Orleans and really started learning about wine at a very young age. My wife and I both got accredited SOM certifications, and then one thing led to another. I started a construction company building luxury wine cellars. I'm blown away with the quality of the product that we tasted this year. The bar has been raised significantly, and I think that is a testament to what's been happening in the education here at Southwest Wine Center and the tutelage of Michael Pierce and of course Paula Woolsey and the entire crew here that's done a tremendous job.
Awesome. That is so neat. I hope you all enjoyed seeing that. It was a good step into what it was, what it is, and what it takes to actually judge some of these wines. So this year, we had a few more categories. Last year, we did some more traditional white wines, red wines, grape wines, some fruit wines, and some mead. This year, we added to the categories sparkling wine, and we added in fortified wine, and it was a new dimension. I think the sparkling wine, and we did have natural wine that came into us. I think last year we had more grape wine, and this year we had more mead entered. But you're going to see when I show you the presentation of who won the wines and who won the awards and what they were, what meads won and what wines won, you'll see that a lot of except for a couple of cases, we have all new winners. This year we had a really powerful set of judges, and you'll meet them at the end of this presentation. but they were very impressed. As you heard Scott say at the end of that video, it was a success in that we gave the judges what they wanted to see, and what they were, something new, something that showed them what it was to be in this wine competition. And obviously, you are going to see some pretty fantastic wines here that won. Normally, we would be up on a stage and I'd be able to give everybody a hug and Tom would take a picture. So we did our best to recreate that with this short presentation. We have pictures of most of the people that have won. When they presented us with the wine and they turned it in, Lisa was so good to take a picture of them, which was important because we wanted to be able to show you who they were. Some cases we don't have a picture, in some cases we've got some interesting pictures. So we're going to go ahead right now and share with the competition the medal winners. We have a judge's choice and a best in show this year. So the first competition winner is our ladies. We have a silver medal in the category of dry white. This is won by Christine and David Eccles and Sharon and Hal Mattern for their 2020 Picpoul Blanc. It was a fabulous wine, and here's a great picture of the ladies. Thank you, ladies. Congratulations. Gold medal winner in the white category, interesting varietal. This was a 2020 Colombard entered by Brian Borelli. We want to thank Brian. Didn't have a picture of him. Congratulations. All of you medal winners will be receiving your actual medals in the mail in the next couple of weeks. If you can't come to pick it up, we'll make some arrangements to get it to you. And those of you that didn't win actual medals this year will receive your score sheets so you can see how the judges did score the wines. More on that later. Our double gold winner in the white category, here they are again. It's the ladies, Christine and Sharon, with husbands David and Hal. This time it was for the 2020 Malvasia blend with a little bit of Picpoul. This was a fabulous wine, and I'm very, very proud of these ladies. Both of them are graduates from the program. Everybody in the team is part of the Southwest Wine Center family. Congratulations. The gold medal winner, this is a new one for what we're calling semi-dry. Is a variety, Picpoul Blanc 2020 by David Quivy. Congratulations. David is currently one of my students, and I've been just sitting on these winners for the last couple of weeks wanting to tell everybody, you won, you won. So congratulations, David. Job well done. Another student, gold medal winner, rosé category. This was a blend, 2020 Cab, Tannat, Tempranillo, Grenache, and Todd Peterson entered this wine. This was a delicious, delicious show at a rosé. Congratulations, Todd. We're looking forward to seeing more wines from you soon. Here's a good one, silver medal winner. Now this is Timo Geis. He's also a student. This is the category for red. This was a 2020 Cabernet, and it was a natural wine. It was really a well-received, very delicious. I really appreciated to see this wine win silver medal, and I hope he's happy about this medal, and I look forward to tasting some of his other wines. I know he's working on some sparkling wines, so next time maybe we'll taste one of those and judge it. Congratulations, Timo. Gold medal winner, red category. This was an interesting grape varietal. 2019 Teraldigo, Joanne and Doug Brown. Congratulations. This was a really, really good effort. Proud to see some people coming from over the hill, and we'd love to see some more of your wines. These guys entered some interesting wines, including a Shoy Reba, and I really appreciated the effort. Thank you so much for joining us on this competition, and look forward to seeing more from you guys too. Here's a good one. You probably recognize these two. This is Tom and Teresa Messier. This is the double gold medal winner red category for their 2018 Petite Syrah. Wonderful wine. Congratulations, and we know we're going to see more from you too. Thank you. Oops, there they are again. Silver medal winner. Now this is for fruit category, and some of you may remember this fruit for this particular fruit from last year's competition. This is 2019, or last year was 2019, tomato wine. And I'm telling you, every time we have somebody try these wines, they don't know what they are. They don't understand that it's tomato. They want to think it's great, but this is a sublime, amazing wine. Congratulations, you guys, on tomato wine again. Oh, look at them again. Gold medal winner, fruit category. This was their 2020 tomato jalapeno blend. And this was really an interesting wine. They entered a tomato wine, and then they also entered a jalapeno wine, and then they entered a tomato jalapeno wine. And the jalapeno wine was pretty spicy. The tomato jalapeno was very good. As you can see, gold medal winner. It beat out the tomato this year. So congratulations on gold medal fruit wine. Here we have our silver medal winner in sparkling. And this was a really interesting sparkling Pinot Gris Chardonnay that was submitted by Gabriel and Federique. And this wine was entered from Washington State. So this was the first time we had a sparkling category, and it was also the first time we actually had a medal placement by somebody who came to the competition from outside of Arizona. So we look forward to tasting more wines from other states. So if you guys know people in New Mexico or Colorado or Texas or wherever, tell them to enter their wines next year. I think it would be interesting to see. We'd like to see more. Gold medal, same deal, sparkling wine. This was their 2020 Chardonnay, pure Chardonnay. We want to congratulate them on that. Appreciate the effort, and we like the fact that we now have a sparkling category. So all you sparkling winemakers out there, let's see some of those wines next year. Moving into mead. Silver medal. This is really great to see. Now, Steve Solomon has been here before and won medals before. Tim Godin's new to the competition, so this was a joint effort. It was a 2020 CE4 Turkish tea mead. And when we get into the meads, that's the second day of competition. So we do all the whites, all the reds, all the rosés, dry fruit, first day. So they're being judged just by themselves. Second day, we move into the fruit wines and the meads and the desserts and the other categories. So this is our silver medal winner on mead. Congratulations, Tim and Steve. This is another interesting one. We had to look up what a snowberry was. Gold medal winner mead, 2021 snowberry. And this was entered by Shane Carey. Shane didn't send in a picture. We want to send him congratulations. And this was a really interesting wine. Double gold mead. There he is, Aiden. It's his 2019 prickly pear with desert bloom wildflower. This wine, this mead was almost a perfect score. People were like absolutely blown away by it. Aiden has a lot of talent. He's won medals here last year, or in 2019. Sorry, I forget. I skip a year here. We look forward to more from Aiden. He is a very, very talented young man, and he makes amazing meads. Oh, look at those two. Silver medal. This is a new category, fortified wine. This is Mitch Levy and Ted Faring, both students, graduates, 2020 cranberry port, unfiltered. It was quite tasty. It was very good, and I'm appreciative that these guys sent it in, and we are happy to see them continuing to experiment as time goes by. So the last two categories for competition winning, we have judges' choice. When the judges, look at wines that potentially have already won, they usually have, but they want to look at kind of thinking outside the box. And this particular wine was voted as judges' choice because of the Colombard. We don't see that very often, and it was an amazingly well-balanced, interesting, high-acid, delicious wine. We want to thank Brian again, judges' choice winner. He will be receiving a handmade Tom Schumacher wine chiller. So we'll get that to you, Brian. Thank you again, and congratulations. Best in show. This is the top one. This guy's gonna get our cellar rat with barrel. This goes to top best in show mead. It was Aiden James again with his 2019 prickly pear with desert bloom wildflower. So congratulations, Aiden. You're gonna have to swing by and pick up your barrel and your cellar rat. You've really shown us what you can do this year. Keep it up. I want to thank the judges. This is Scott Stevens He comes to us from the Barolo Group in Scottsdale. He's a restaurateur and a real wine palate to be judging these things. He's done this a few years for us, and he'll continue to do so. Gary Spatafor. Gary is one of my mentors. Have known him for years. We met through the Society of Wine Educators. He's a certified wine educator. He's the owner of Spatafor Solutions, LLC. Gary has been a friend and a sponsor and somebody who has been supporting this program since its inception. Thank you so much, Gary. Dale Sparks. Some of you may know Dale Sparks. He started Quench Fine Wines. He was the founder of 21 Winery Imports. Dale has come to us from years of being a somm. He's been in the wine industry. He is somebody that has one of the most amazing palates I've ever met. And Dale, again, we want to thank for helping us out. This is the second time he's done it, and he'll be back. Locals will recognize this guy. This is Ron Brumley. He is the winemaker at Alcantara. He's a great guy. He's a friendly guy. He knows his wines, and he really helped. When we pair the judges together, we try to put a winemaker with an industry person, and together they judge the wines, come up with a score that works. There's a 50 points between, each judge has 50 points, giving it 100-point scoring. And we appreciate you, Ron, and we hope to see you doing this again next year. Julia Dixon. Here's a lady of fierce force. She is currently her own winemaker, and she's the winemaker for another winery down in Wilcox. Julia is a graduate of the program, and she came all the way from Wilcox or Pierce, Arizona to come and do this competition. We love Julia, and we want to see her again. Thanks, Julia. And then Wes Schemmer. Wes is the owner of Vino de Sedona. He moved here from Illinois several years ago and started a really great wine shop in Sedona. This is one of the outlets I use for my classes. He's a dear friend. He's currently the bailli of the Chaîne de Rôtisseurs, which is the oldest food and wine society in the world. And I appreciate he took time off from his busy schedule to come and be with us for the competition for 2 days. He also did a great job supplying lunch for everybody. So thanks, Wes. And there I am, a couple years ago with purple hair. I want to thank everybody for participating, who participated in the judging, who helped the judging. I want to especially thank all of the speakers that were there and all of the presenters that were there. We're going to be leading into our roundtable now. So at this point, if we have Michael bring everybody in, if you've got questions that you want to ask specifically to a specific person, put them in the chat and let us know who you're asking that question to, and we'll move forward with your guys' roundtable questions. I know there was probably some left over that you wanted to talk to Philippe about. He's going to be here. Here comes Gary. There's Jennifer. All right. We do have a question. Louis, will we be able to get the tasting notes for feedback like the previous years? Yes, we will be sending you guys either via email or in person. We're going to be putting together packets based on people who, sent in their competitions. We have several people that have already asked. I want to thank everybody again for getting us your entries, and we'll be happy to get those back to you, relatively soon. Some of them we're going to mail, some of them we're going to email. It just sort of depends on the format right now. And if you can come back to the tasting room, Southwest Wine Center, to pick them up, then they'll be there for you. Hi, Julia.
Working today, sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. You look good. You look good. Anybody have any questions? There's no questions. That's funny. You want to share? Well, okay. What was it like to be a judge? How about Gary? Tell us what it was like to be a judge.
Well, great. Welcome, everybody. Good to have you here. As this was my very first time judging wines, it was very, very interesting and fascinating for me, even though I've been in the business about 40 years. So I had no idea what to expect. I did some research and hit the internet. I tried to figure out what to do. I was really fortunate to be paired with Jules because she had a lot better insight than I did. But I'm a I'm an assessor for the WSET, so I kind of used their format, the level 3 format, and just went through, what the wine looks like, what that tells me, then nosing the wine, what that tells me, and then taste, and then coming to a conclusion. So I just used their format, whether it was a grape wine or fruit wine or mead, and that seemed to work. And then in consultation with Jules, we found we were pretty close on just about every wine we judged. We conversed a little bit and came up with a score. So it was a hoot. It was a lot of fun. Always energizing to be around professionals that are so dedicated and professional in what they do. So I had a blast. I just enjoyed it.
It's good to catch up. Thank you. We have a question for Philippe. How does biodynamic farming approach an arid climate with minimal rainfall during the growing season?
Well, I've been to Arizona, but not for professional reasons. And to be frank with you, it's like, it's hard to answer a question like that because my answer will be very general and not adapted to you. You see what I'm saying? But could you tell me the question again? Could you repeat the question again?
Yes. How does biodynamic farming approach an arid climate with minimal rainfall during the growing season?
Well, I farmed in Bagnols-sur-Mer in France, okay, the eastern side of the Pyrenees, diving into the Mediterranean, and we had between 6 and 10 inches of water annually. And I could see the result, but like I'm saying, you really have to think about, you need to know your environment, and you cannot make any mistake in an environment like that. I don't know if I'm answering the question, but it's such a very precise question about a place I don't know nothing about. It's like it's very hard for me to answer that question here in a few words.
Okay, how about this one? This is from Todd. For Philippe, how do you identify local vegetation to use for developing the biodynamic preparations from our locale?
All right, so that's a very interesting question because the plants that we're using now, they were recommended 100 years ago in a place which is now Poland. So they can be used here. They can be used in California, but I realized that I have to plant and grow the nettles. I have to plant, and grow the dandelions. And there are certainly some of the plants which have exactly the same characteristic or the same virtues that could replace these plants. To adapt your environment, it's always the same thing. You need to know the plants. You need to know what they do. If you don't know that, it's hard to. Personally, I cannot tell you what plant in Arizona can be used, and replace one of the preparation right now. But I'm sure it's possible. It's doable, because the recipe I'm talking about was made 10,000 kilometers away from here, in a place which is super cold, and which has with a lot of rain and a lot of snow, and a lot of ice, Yeah. So yes, you can use the local plants, but you need to know that. You need to know that. You need to know exactly the virtues and what they do, and then yes, you can replace them.
Okay, so we could also cultivate some of those plants because we have dandelions here. We have some of these growing already. Nettles are here. So okay. I think, right? And so then is there some kind of a reference book or a characteristic to look for when you're trying to determine what those plants are? Where could you get more information about it?
Well, I'm gonna have to do some research and send an email to the team here, and maybe they can forward it. Just like that. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's awesome. It's amazing. Very much. All right. Any other questions out there? No. Jennifer, what did you think about the winners of the wine? Were you surprised at some of these wines that won this year?
There were some that were winners, or at least in the running when I was out there judging a couple years ago. So it didn't surprise me to see them back
Right.
at the top of the heap because there were some incredible wines back then. I found it really interesting to see some varietals that I don't have much familiarity with this year, like the Colombard, for example.
Colombard we were surprised about that, but it is planted here and people are bringing it out to the forefront. So it's like Sebel Blanc. There was a lot of Pickpool. Pickpool has really come on strong here in Arizona, and it is I think really well received and people really like it. It comes in a lot of different types of styles. This year, Shane wants to know how many meads were submitted this year compared to previous years. About the same amount of meads were brought in. They were very diverse this time. I think actually there was less mead than there was the year in 2019, but there was less wine overall. But normally speaking, it was a pretty good one for the mead category. All right, so we got a question for Lisa. If some of us in Arizona were interested in becoming sustainability consultants like you, would your organization provide training to get us going?
And Lisa is not on the call, but another Lisa will take that real quickly though.
Okay, great. Thank you, Lisa.
And I can get
Lisa F just joined, so I think if we give her a
cool.
minute, we'll get an answer.
Nice.
We'll circle
I'm
back.
gonna mute.
Question to me: what winemaking styles can emerging winemakers use to create impact when entering the industry? What gets consumers excited? What gets consumers excited kind of depends on the age category of the consumers. Younger consumers are really interested in trying new things. They aren't really going to be thrilled with big heavy duty Cabernets or more traditional varietals. The styles that people are interested in currently seem to be leaning a little bit towards more natural styles. Wines that are higher in acid, more food friendly seem to be the trick. When you're going to make wine, you got to remember it is a food, it's a component. Winemakers who make wine think about their wines as they're going to be sharing a plate with food. So that's important. Keep that in mind. When you go to plant a vineyard, you want to talk to people about what it is they're interested in drinking. And clearly you plant what you want to drink too, but you want to go to market with your wine, kind of be on top of what some of the trends are. And there's resources out there, people that could tell you or give you some advice on that. Talking to judges in wine competitions is really going to tell you more about how to make your wines balanced and flaw-free. And joining competitions is a good way to get the word out. But when you're really looking at what styles to center your own winery on, and the wines that you're going to make or the meads that you're going to make, start with your heart and tell your story. And most people are going to react to that in a good way. All right. What was the range of fortified wines submitted? Good question, Nancy. We had one. So next year, we want to see some more fortified wines. I think that's important. I know you guys know how to make them. I've tasted them before. So let's get some more fortified in there. We got Michelle saying the tomato wine has won a few years in a row. Yes, it has. I'm sure to speak for many who us consider this should go into a commercial production for Arizona. Again, we are wine geeks, and the people that are really purchasing wines, there's about 95% of the rest of the public would probably not appreciate a tomato wine like we do, but maybe bigger production than he does. I know 2019, he made 5 bottles of this stuff. So that's not a whole lot. It was enough to really turn our eyes and go, holy cow, this is an amazing wine. But when it comes to production, I'd like to see it, small production, but it would be a tough sell overall. I know that there is a tomato jalapeno wine that's coming out of New Mexico that Vino de Sedona sells. So there is some out there, and there is a little bit of an example for you to try at Vino. Wes will know what we're talking about. Okay, back to Lisa's question. Lisa, if some of us in Arizona were interested in becoming sustainability consultants like you, would your organization provide training to get us up and going?
Ooh, that's an interesting question. So I'm not actually a consultant. I'm a person who just works for the organization. We don't actually offer training. We do train our certification auditors, but that's a kind of different thing. But someone could be welcome to join that. It's a little probably too nitty gritty on the certification side. But we do, like I said, have plenty of resources that are freely available, and would be happy to chat with anyone if they want to connect with me after and give you some thoughts I have. But we don't offer any like formal trainings. So.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you. We have a question from Todd Peterson. He says, how do the wines in the contest compare to commercial wines from Arizona? Well, they actually compared quite well. Who wants to take that one? Gary, you want to answer that question? How do those wines that you tasted compare to some of the commercial wines from Arizona?
Oh, well, that would be, I guess on Wednesday when we did the grape wines, those would be the ones to compare. I thought some of them were pretty close. To be honest, I think that maybe Jules would be better since she's the winemaker, or Ron might take that.
All right, Jules, what do you think?
I think that some of them were pretty darn close. Some were there. There's this level where everyone tries to achieve, and then there's the whole, where am I at on that level? And you know what? It's getting close. As far as I can say, I mean, I'm a peon, but still.
You have a great palate, and I agree with both of you. I think that there were some wines that could easily be considered commercial quality because there's a whole big level of wines out in the commercial. So in the retail markets, and there's a lot of different palates, and it's more about your story. And let me tell you, people, when people want to taste a new wine, they want to hear where it comes from and what it's about. And it's sometimes about where you are the moment you taste it. So at this point, everybody's on the right track. Keep it going. We have a question for Lisa again. What was the funding source which helped start the CSWA?
Great question. And it was a couple places. We get a lot of our funding actually through government grants. And so California Department of Food and Ag, US Department of Food and Ag, especially crop block grants, conservation innovation grants. We started early on with a farmland trust grant. So we definitely spend a lot of time trying to raise funding for this program. But we do also get funding from our partner organizations, Wine Institute and California Association of Wine Grape Growers. It's like a very tiny percentage of their membership dues go to us, but we really use that to leverage to do our grant fundraising.
Yeah, good friends to have. Here's one more question for you. This is from Aiden. He was our best of show winner. Considering the packaging of wine, mostly glass bottles, represents about 35 to 45% of a wine's carbon footprint. What packaging alternatives can you allow for aging, long-time storage, while being less carbon impactful? Is recycled glass seeing more use in the industry?
It's a great question. I think it's packaging is an area in general. I think with a lot of sustainability programs besides ours in California, that is an area that needs to be looked at a lot more. We've definitely done our own life cycle assessments and looked at that too. Clearly, lightweight bottling is a key aspect to that. But there's, lots of innovation in packaging, and clearly everyone sees that cans are becoming a really big thing, and even bag in the box and other forms, kegs for restaurants, lots of different innovations, I think, within the packaging. So I think that's something that we all need to be looking at, and especially the lightweighting of glass. I think is something as an industry we can all be looking towards. I think there's always the concern about what is the perception of lightweight glass compared to the heavier bottles. And, I like to compare it back to twist off caps and how, early on it was this big, what will consumers think? And now everyone's used to them and you see them everywhere. So I feel like something similar might happen with lightweight bottles, but we'll see. But in general, I think it's an area that we all have a lot of room for improvement.
Has anybody ever done any studies on like Tetra Paks and aging, because lightweight bottles aren't going to really change the aging. So we know that's not going to be a different situation. But there are other containers that it would be interesting to know if they allow wine to age and what the differences are.
Yeah, I actually think I've seen something actually from Tetra Pak trying to look into that, but I think in general, it really is only used for wine not intended to age in bottle. And so I'm not sure. I haven't seen anything recently, but I'm sure they're looking into that because I can bet it's a question a lot of people have.
Oh yeah, definitely. All right. Well, thank you very much. Richard Z, how many fruit wines were submitted? A lot. I don't have the number at the top of my head. There were more grape wines by far. Bill, how many? About 10 is what we're hearing. So about 10 fruit wines were entered in the competition. So grape wine was definitely the number one. And then fruit wine and then mead, probably in that order. All right. Anybody else have any questions? Don't be shy. Will the PowerPoint presentation be available? Yes, the PowerPoint presentation, the video, all of the sessions that we did today are recorded and they will be posted on our emergingwinemakers.com website for you to go look at, download at your leisure. Anybody else? Because we're going to close this baby down. If you don't have any more questions, we're happy to answer them. Here we go. Here's one for Philippe again. Much of what you presented was historic knowledge. In your career, do you see new biodynamic technologies and research coming out? That's a great question.
Well, when you say history, yes, this is the original recipes, okay? But the original recipes, even though they were made far from here, the soil functions are the same thing. That's the sense that's doing the same period the same way all the time. But yeah, there is more and more research, about the adaptation to different kind of climates. And there's more and more people going into analysis, testing their preparations, like for microbes and bacteria and these kind of things, but I think with Panomics, we're just scratching the surface here, and there's a lot of things to discover.
Definitely. Great. All right. Michelle wanted to know, I did mention the quality of the wines this year were much improved. Can you give details of what you all noticed? Well, what I noticed right off the bat, say from the first year, was there appeared to be not many, if any, kit wines. People were actually bringing wines to the table that they made with grapes. The other things that I noticed is that the students are learning and the wines are coming to us more complete, with less flaws. We only had one corked wine of the whole entire 77 bottles that were put out. We didn't really give a lot of bad scores or lower scores because there was some volatile acidity and there was some TCA, but for the most part, the wines were more complete. You could tell they were finished wines. Some of the red wines had a little bit of age on them, which was important. We could see that people were using maybe real wood versus wood alternatives. So I think more than anything else, the college has done a pretty darn good job of getting these students some serious knowledge on what to take out of the vineyards and what to take out of the winery, so that they've learned their craft. The craft is getting more honed, and the winemakers are just showing that with the wines that they introduced to this competition this year.
Hey Paula, can I jump in?
Please.
So one of the things, as it was my first wine judging for these kind of wines, I did some research and I truly expected to see more flaws, and that's kind of where I was really boning up on, and I was pleasantly surprised that there were very few flaws. Some of the wines might have been a little more acidic than I'd liked, or tannin or something like that. But as far as wine flaws, I was pleasantly surprised how really few there were.
Yeah, I agree. Jules, do you want to comment on that, or anybody else want to comment on that was at the judging, what they've thought about the quality of the wines this year? I guess you'd be able to tell us, you thought overall, you gave us your impressions. Do you have anything additional to say about that? No. All right. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. Well, I'm not going to beg you guys for questions. I appreciate everybody coming out and turning out for this event and spending some time with us this afternoon. Next year, we will be back to doing this in person. We will attempt to have an online available at the same time, or a live streaming for some of the competition next year. Maybe the award ceremony. Definitely will be able to view the seminars together if you want to do it at home. But we will be back to having this competition at Yavapai College. The best thing you can do is support the college and support this competition and tell people about it. You know, budding winemakers that are making wine that aren't selling wine. That's the criteria here. You got to be 21, making wine and not selling it. So we want to thank everybody for spending time with us. We want to thank everybody's support. We want to thank all of our presenters for giving us time from faraway places. And thank you, Bill Anderson, for being our daddy in charge of this event. And we're there to help you next year. Thank you, everybody.
It was a blast.
Bye, Gare.